welcome back to a new lesson. I hope that you're all ready for today's lesson. We are going to be rounding numbers. So this is something that's super easy for people who already know how to round numbers. They shouldn't have any problem. They should be very, very quick. But for some of you, you might be struggling just a tiny bit. We're going to try to help you today. We're going to try and make sure you never, ever, ever forget how to round numbers ever again. Okay, so as you know, we're going to be rounding to the nearest 10, 100 and 1,000. So in grade 5, I think you went up to hundreds. You rounded to the nearest 10 and then to the nearest 100. But today we're going to be doing the nearest 1,000 as well. And there's no difference. This time we just move slightly up, the same way we did before. So here we go. What is rounding? We're going to use definition number 2 over here. To round is to alter, to change a number to a less exact. So it's not the same number, but it's quite close to the number, and it helps us to calculate easier. So if I round 56 to 60, and if I round 34 to 30, and altogether I've got 90, it's just easier for me to round that way. So we give and take depending on the number. So here we go. Before you get started, before anything else happens, do you have a notebook? Do you have your green writing book? Do you have just a piece of paper if you have? Pens, highlighters, rulers, color pencils, whatever you need for this lesson. Okay? You know, I always say, please try and make your work beautiful. If it's beautiful, then it'll make you want to learn. Okay? So here we go. We're going to start by rounding to the nearest 10. To round a number to the nearest 10, look at the units digit. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the digit in the units. So now this is very, very important. If you do not know your place values, then you can have a look over here in your textbook on page number 2. There's all the place values that you need to know right there. Okay, so when we round to the nearest 10, we need to look at the units column. So here we go again. When we round to the nearest 10, we look at the units column. Okay, look at this. It says if the units column is 5 or more. So if the number in the units column is 5 or more, this number goes up by 1. So you plus 1. So just imagine we had number 35. Can you round 35 to the nearest 10? The units column, that's 5 or more. So we add 1. So it's 40. Rounded to the nearest 10 is 40. So here we have a 22. We have the number 22. In the tens column I have a 2. In the units column I have a 2 as well. Now it says, if the units digit is 5 or more, round up. Round up means plus 1 over here. Okay, so rounded to the nearest 100, to the nearest 10, this number would be 20. Okay, because that is not 5 or more. So it's just 20. We round down. Or, what if we have 29? It says, if the digit in the units column is 5 or more. Is this 5 or more? Yes. So that means we round up. So it becomes 30. Okay, here we have one more. Just have to remember the rule is 5 or more, go up. Let's go to have some practice. Okay, here we are. We're at the drawing board. We're ready. We're going to practice just with some random numbers that we just pull out from the air. So let's have a look. We've got a 3, we've got an 8, and we've got a 9. Here we go. Is that 5 or more? Yes, well that means that number goes up to the 1. So this becomes 390. Okay, now I know that my handwriting looks terrible. It's not easy to use paint and be perfect. Okay, so I'll keep practicing. Let's do another number. Okay, let's go back to the start over here. If I had, say, 452, and I need to round this to the nearest 10, what would I then have to do? Let me use some different colors over here so we can make it fun. Here we go. Okay, I need to round to the nearest 10. So this is my tens column over here. The rule said, please, please, please look at the units column. Okay, if the units column is 5 or more, then I round up. Okay, if it's 5 or more, round up. But this is not 5. This is less than 5. So I'm rounding down. I'm going to try and go back to that color that I had over here previously. 450. There we go. Let's do another one. Let's call that example number 1. Let's do example number 2 over here. Let's go for a big number. I've got 59,667. 59,667. Okay. Now here we go again. Just because the number is bigger doesn't mean anything changes. And I just go for random colors at this point. Here we go. In the tens column, the tens column has not moved. It's still the tens column. There it is. Okay, that's the number that I'm focusing on. But if I need to know what's happening in the units column to be able to round up to the nearest 10. So here we go. My units column, it says 5 or more. 5 or more. 5 or more. Is this 5 or more? Yes, it is. Okay, that means that one increases by 1. So now my total value is, let's go back to that color again, 59,670. There we go. Let's do one more, just to you know, make sure that everybody's happy. Okay, let's go for a green color, just because this time we all know how to round to the nearest 10. So let's go for a 6-digit number. Okay, so we've got 600 and let's go 43,984. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so here we go. What do I need to do? I need to round to the nearest 10. I know how to round to the nearest 10. It's super easy. Then no, this is my tens column. Okay, and there it is. It's the number 8. But before I can do anything, I need to look at the units column. So here we go. Let me just get a different color there, the blue one maybe. Okay, here we go. This needs to be 5 or more if I'm going to increase it. And this is not 5 or more. So that means that there's no change here. I'm rounding down. So 643,980. 643,980 is my rounded number. Okay, I hope that helped. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so if we're going to do the same rules, we know this is the tens column. The 2, is that 5 or more? Nope, so that rounds to 20. Tens column. Got a 9 in the units column. Is that 5 or more? Yes. Increase it by 1. That rounds to 30. 284. I need to round it to the nearest 10. Where is the nearest 10? If this is 5 or more, then it increases, but it's not. So 280. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, if it's 5 or more, it goes up. You round up. 5 or more, round up. Okay, in the units column, if you have 5 or more, round up. Okay, look at this chart. Make sure you know this chart. Love this chart. Here we go. This is part of your examples. This is part of your homework. If you can do it, we can put a timer on it if you want to. Let's try and do number 1 to 10. Stop at number 10. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Try to do number 1 to 10. The rule is 5 or more, round up. 5 or more in the units column, round up. Okay, so I've said try to do number 1 to number 10 on your own. We're going to be rounding these numbers to the nearest 10. And if you want to go further, if you don't want to stop, then you can go on to do number 11, 12, all the way to the end. Okay, so here we go. We've got 263. So as you know, 263, we need to round to the nearest 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just to make it easy, I'm just going to underline all the 10s so that I know this is what I need to focus on. So that means that I also need to look at the units column. Okay, I'm not going to do that one over there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I need to look at the units column. So I've been using these colors. I'm just going to reuse them again further. So 5 or more in the units column. Is that 5 or more? Yes or no? No. So that changes, or it stays the same. Round down to 260. Okay, this is going to take me forever. Let's finish up. In the units column, do I have 5 or more? Nope. Stays the same. Do I have 5 or more? Yes, I do. I have 5 or more over here. So plus 1 over here. In the tens column, that is closer to 410 than it is to 400. Okay. Remember that chart with the arrows. That helps us a lot. 5 or more. Okay, here we go. Number 4. 570. Okay, if you got that, very good. Here we have 5 or more in the units column. That is 590. Okay, 5 or more. Yes, that is 5 or more. So that's 190. Okay, 5 or more in the units column. Nope. Okay, well that just stays the same. That's 850. 850. 96. Okay, so what do I do now? Here I've got 96. And the 6 is in the units column, and that's more. So I'm going to add 1 still. The closest 10 there is 100. Okay, the 96 is closer to 100 than it is to 90. Okay, here we go. Again here, that's 5 or more. Nope. 300. And the last question, 920. 0 is very, very, very close to 920. In fact, it is. Okay, so there we go. Those are our answers. I hope you have something similar. I tried to write a little bit better. I hope you can appreciate that. Okay, let's go back to the presentation again. Okay, tell you what. Because we did number 1 to 10 together, you are going to have to do number 11 to 21 on your own. Okay, try and practice that. When we have a chance, we'll come around to doing it together if we can. Okay, next on. We are doing rounding to the nearest 100. Okay, it says look at the tens column, or the tens digit of the number this time. So now I'm going to be focusing on the nearest 100. Okay, do you know your place values? Once again. Here we go. Do you know your place values? Okay, I'm now going to round to the nearest 100. That means that I can't look at the units. I need to look at the tens. 5 or more, round up. 5 or more, round up. So we've moved on. We're moving to these two now. We're rounding to the nearest 100. Okay. When you round to the nearest 100, generally you have 2 zeros at the end of a number. So that's a kind of a clue. Let's keep going. If the digit is 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4, then you round down. Okay, you keep to the previous 100. Okay, that's the tens. So here we go once again. If that is a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, that stays the same, and you add 0, 0. If this number is a 5 or more, then we plus 1 to the hundreds. If that helps you, it should. So I've got 2 numbers on the screen. I've got 282. Rounded to the nearest 100. Is that 5 or more now? Yes, it is. So that becomes 300. 282 is closer to 300 than it is to 200. It's closer to 300. 5,686. Okay, I'm going to round to the nearest 100. My hundredths place it's always in the same, so in the hundredths place. Okay. That's a 6. What's in my tens column? Is that 5 or more? Yes, it is. So, very, very close here. 5,700. Okay. 5,686 is closer to 5,700 than it is to 5,700. 600. Okay. I hope that helps you. You should be okay with this. We have done this before. We've done rounding to the nearest 10. We've done rounding to the nearest 100. Okay, again, this is a chart to help you. 50 or more, round up. 50 or more, round up. Okay. I just like to keep the same rule, 5 or more, round up, because then it's less rules for you to remember. Okay, here we go. So this example over here is where you fill in all the numbers on the number line, or where you think the arrows are. So here we've got 100, that's 110, 120. Now you can see 120 is so close to 100. So when I round, I can see this is less than 5, so it stays 100. Now over here I've got 170. Let's check. Maybe they made a mistake. 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170. Okay, look at the 7. Is that 5 or more? Yes, it is. So we round to the 200. One more time, just one more time. If we round to the nearest 100, we need to look at the tens column. 5 or more, plus 1. 5 or more, plus 1. Okay. So let's do number 1 and 2 together, and then you can do 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Let's go to the drawing board. Okay, here we are. We're ready. Okay, so what we're going to do is I kept the example there just to help us, but we are going to make some notes. So generally when we speak about our number patterns, we've got hundreds, and we've got tens, and then we've got units. Okay, so we've done rounding to the nearest 10, so we are going to look at these two columns now, the hundreds column and the tens column. Okay, we're going to look at the hundreds column and the tens column. Okay, so here we've got 210, and then here we go, so 300, 290, 280 over here, so 280 over here. Okay, now because we are using the number line, it's so easy to see that we would round this to the nearest. I'm going to use a different color. I don't have enough space, so I'm just going to say it's 200, and this one is very, very close to 300, as you can see. So if I ask you, please write round 280 to the nearest 100, then you would say like this. That is a very, very bad 0. There we go. Then you would use this symbol for rounding, and then we would say, well, it's very, very close. That means approximate. It means very, very close to. Okay, one more. It's a super easy one, this one. It's really nice to do, and it helps us understand rounding a lot better. 420. Okay, I just really butchered that number. Let's go back a bit. Ooh, no, didn't like that. Okay, there we go. 420. I'm really bad at writing 420. Okay, then 430, 440, 450, 460 over here. Okay, there we go. As you can see, once again, this is sort of the 5 or more over here. So you change my pen color, rounding that way. There we go. So that wasn't too bad. That was a good one. When we round to the nearest 100, that means we have to look at the tens column. Okay, cool. I think everybody's okay with that. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, here we are. We're at the last part of our lesson. We know how to round to the nearest 10. We know how to round to the nearest 100. Now we're doing rounding to the nearest 1,000. Okay, and you guessed it. When we look at our place values, instead of moving all the way, let's start at the beginning. When we rounded to the nearest 10, we had to look at the units column. When we rounded to the nearest 100, we had to look at the tens column. Now we're going to round to the nearest 1,000, so we have to look at the hundreds column. If the digit in the hundreds column is 5 or more, we round up. If the number in the hundreds column is less than 5, we round down. Okay, So here we go. To round a number to the nearest thousand, look at the hundreds column. That's what I said. I said look at the hundreds column. There we go. If the hundreds digit is 5 or more, round up. If the hundreds digit is 4 or less, round up. Okay, so here we go. That's how we do it. Over here in this number, we've got 4,559. Okay, 4,559. You guys know that this is the thousands column, this is the hundreds column, this is the tens and the ones, or the units. We now need to look at these two numbers. We need to look at the thousands column, and the hundreds column helps me decide which thousand am I going for. Okay, so here we go. 5 or more, round up. 5 or more, round up. So 4,559 rounded to the nearest thousand is 5,000. This is our last group activity, and this is the last thing we're doing together. Okay, we're going to do all of this together. Let's go to the drawing board. It's a super easy one. All we need to do is draw an arrow to match the number. Okay, hi everyone, here we are. We are ready to start. What we're going to do is take each number one by one. We're going to use the symbol for rounding, as you know. I'll draw it on the side over here. You know that's rounding. Okay, that's approximately. So over here, they gave us one answer, so we're just going to move on to the next one. Okay, let's go to 3,076. So over here in my hundreds column, is that 5 or more? Nope. So that rounded is 3,000. Here we go. So I'm just going to draw a line. There we go. Okay, let's use different colors to make it fun. Okay, 800. So I've technically got a 0 here in my thousands column. For those of you who are confused, that's my thousands column there. Hundreds, is that 5 or more? Yes. So it rounds up to 1,000. I hope this is helping you. Let's move on to the next number. Let's go to 6625. 6,625. Okay, this is my thousands column. This is my hundreds column. I need these two because I need to round to the nearest thousand. Okay. Is this 5 or more? Yes, it is. So rounded, it becomes 7,000. Okay, let's see. Where's the 7,000? There it is. There it is. Okay. Next color. Next color, next number. 4,708. Okay, look at that, look at that. That is more than. So this one's going to change to 5,000. 7 is 5 or more. Okay, next number, next color. Let's go to 8,400. Okay, so over here we need to know, we need to round to the nearest thousand. Okay, this is my thousands column. Where's the closest thousand? Think of it this way. 8,400. Is 8,454 closer to 8,000 or 9,000? It's of course closer to 8,000. There we go. Next color. We don't have any orange, so we should go for orange. Let's go for a dark orange. Okay, 3,582. 3,582. This is my thousands column. This is my hundreds column. This is my tens column. This is my units column. There we go. Okay, I'm looking at these two. Ask yourself, is 3,582 closer to 3,000 or 4,000? Okay, or you can just say, oh, that's more than 5, or that's 5 or more, so that means I round up. There we go. Here I have 6,295. Okay, this is a super easy one. I know that's not less than 5, so that's rounded. That's very, very close to 6,000. Forgot to change the color there. Let's go for the last one. That's 9,403. Okay. In my thousands column, I have a 9. In my hundreds, I have a 4. So that means that I round down in this case. Okay, so I mean we did that all together. It was a super easy one. If you have any questions, let me know. If you were happy with all these answers, that's good. If you got everything right and you did it way faster than me, then that's so good. I'm so proud of you. It's time for you to see what homework you have. Okay, just before you get your homework, you do have a quiz. And there's only 3 questions, so don't worry about it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. I'll give you 10 seconds. For each question, you just say yes or no, or true or false. Okay. Question number 1. When rounded to the nearest thousand, 5,678 is 5,000. Yes or no? Is 5,600 closer to 5,000 or to 6,000? Okay. And the answer is no. It's closer to 6,000. Okay. Rounded to the nearest thousand, it is 6,000. Next question. True or false? 34,568 is 34,570 when rounded to the nearest 10. Okay, so now I'm rounding to the nearest 10. I need to look at the units column. True. It is true. Okay, we're looking at the units column. That's 5 or more, so it goes up by 1. Last question. This is the last one. No. Oh, there we go. Sam has 5,698 baht in his bank account. If Sam wanted to round his balance to the nearest 100, how much money would he have? Would it be 5,600 or would it be 5,700? False. It would be 5,700, not 5,600. Okay. There we go. This is your homework. There's a textbook, there's a page in your textbook that deals with rounding. I can show it to you if you really want me to. Here it is. Your page and my page is not the same. My book is an older one and you have a new one. So my answers or our questions are not the same. And then on page 9 and 10 in your workbook, you also have some homework. So there, that page over there, and the last one at the back. Okay. And don't you worry, in the next lesson we will be going through all the answers from worksheet 1 to worksheet 5. Okay. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope that you have a lovely day. Thank you again.